Dun, 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 dun.
Oh, really? There he is, boldly staring out toward Iraq. Maybe from down there.
Get all we need to hit. At the top. It's filming the whole way up here.
How about right here? I'll stay
Yeah, off the corner of that stone. I'm just trying to, off the cuff, like what I was talking about.
What?
Not Standish. Just say, you're a little dark. Talk about how the version of history that we're trying to counteract here.
You mean, should I start with, why don't you turn it off for a sec? You know, start with my name is and whatever. Hi, my name is John Dempsey. I'm a freelance writer from the Boston area, and we're standing here at the Myles Standish Park Monument. Out there is Plymouth Harbor, where in 1620 the Puritans, pilgrims from England landed. I'm sure we all know the familiar story of what happened shortly after the Pilgrims' arrival here, especially in regard to the Indians and the continent themselves. But for the next little space of time, my associate Mark Wagner and I are going to try to tell you an alternative history, another story about someone else who lived here at the exact same time as the Pilgrims and the Puritans and came up with a quite different life, a quite different style of life, involving both the continent, the Indians, and his own spirit from the old world.
Say his name.
And his name was Thomas Morton.
Okay, do it again. Just do it again.
Okay.
Why don't you stand like in there against that?
You don't want the water in the background?
No, we'll have water.
Okay?
Yep.
Hi, my name is John Dempsey, and I'm working with my co-producer Mark Wagner to bring you a story about New England history. We're standing here at the Myles Standish State Park National Monument, and we are overlooking Plymouth Harbor, where in 1620 the Pilgrims from Leyden and ultimately from England came over to settle and begin American civilization, I guess you would say. But for the next space of time, my co-producer and I are going to try to show you a different America that was possible from these times, based on a parallel life, the life of a person who lived there at the same time as the Puritans. His name was Thomas Morton, and we feel that he presents a much different possibility of what America might have become. So we're going to try to tell you his story.
Okay, do it with some humor about the tall monument and stuff like that. That's good.
But it won't make any sense, I mean, out of context.
Yeah. Yes, it will.
You want me to start from the beginning once more?
Well, we'll need that anyway. You want to do that anyway, right? So, okay, we're running out of light and batteries.
Over here on the
yeah,
bright side?
Yeah.
Hi, my name is John Dempsey. I'm a freelance writer from the Boston area, and no? Start it over? Okay.
It's okay. We're getting at it, but, you know.
Hi, my name is John Dempsey, and we're standing here at the Myles Standish National Monument near Plymouth, Massachusetts, where in 1620 some of the original Pilgrims, Puritans, came over here from England, from Europe, to settle. And I'm sure we all know the familiar story of what happened involving the continent and the Indians once they got here. But my friend Mark Wagner and I are going to try to tell you a different kind of story, a story of another man's life who lived here at the same time. His name was Thomas Morton. And we feel that his life presents a completely different point of view about what America could have been. had his settlement, I guess you'd say, prospered. So,
Okay, hold on.
hello, my name is John Dempsey, and my fellow cultural outcast, Mark Wagner, and I are going to try to tell you a story about New England history that we're sure you've never heard before. We're standing here at the National Monument to Myles Standish, one of the great founding fathers of New England history and American history. But the fellow we'd like to talk about, his name is Thomas Morton, and we feel that he presents an entirely different point of view and an entirely different set of possibilities about what America might have become had his settlement prospered enough.
Well, no,
So
see,
our-
that's not...
no, that-
In fact, let's get back here, because the sky is what's really fucking up my light.
Yeah? Okay. Ready?
Yep.
Hi, my name is John Dempsey. My co-producer Mark Wagner and I would like to invite you... fuck this.
No, go on, just keep
Okay.
going.
Hi, my name is John Dempsey. My friend Mark Wagner and I are standing here at the Myles Standish National Monument near Duxbury in Plymouth, Massachusetts. And as we all know, out on those waters around 1620, the Puritan forefathers, the Pilgrims, arrived here in America, led by William Bradford, Myles Standish, some of those other familiar faces that we've all come to know and honor through history.
Did they drive an escort?
This is not working, man.
No, you're like trying to be, you're in front of a camera rather than being, it's okay. I mean, it's okay. Talk about the monument, how interesting it is that a man who's upset about his height. Just do that bit.
All right, but I won't be on, right? Or will I?
Yeah.
Well, I can't. I don't have the facts in my head.
What do you mean? You've already told them.
Intro, really.
I know, I'm just like...
I think the way we started it at Merrymount last week is probably the way to go.
No.
Okay.
Just talk about the monument. Just that, how funny
Let
it
me
is.
just try the intro once more. all right?
Okay.
Hi, my name is John Dempsey. My friend Mark Wagner and I are standing here at the Myles Standish National Monument near Duxbury in Plymouth, Mass. And out that way is Plymouth Harbor, where in 1620 the Pilgrims came over from their exile in Europe to start the English colonies in New England. Now we all know what happened after those arrivals of those first shiploads of people from Europe, okay? But Mark and I would like to show you an alternative history. Would like to tell you a different type of story that actually happened here involving a man named Thomas Morton.
Okay.
And we can cut it right from there if we really have to. And now, this is the monument in Duxbury to Captain Standish. It's the tallest monument in the world, we're told, which is somehow appropriate to a guy who was historically said to be sensitive about his height. In fact, Thomas Morton referred to him as Captain Shrimp, called him a quondam drummer. They say he could be leniently tolerant toward someone like Roger Williams or something like that. What a guy, just like one of us. But of course, you know, he did what he had to do, I'm sure. And there he stands, looking out toward Iraq. Something really satisfying about the fact that Thomas Morton finally did come back to this area after all he'd been through, after his years in London, his adventures in the New World, his Plymouth banishments, the rebels, etc. After everything he'd been through, he came back here, having made his will to spend the last years of his life. And interestingly, not without a sort of Morton sense of fun about it, he spent a lot of his time when he came back here. He wintered at Plymouth, and he was there on tolerance that he would be sure to leave come the spring. So he spent some of those last months of his arrival here hunting, fishing, etc., right on the borders of Captain Shrimp's estate in this Duxbury area, which must have been kind of ironic, funny to Morton himself to be out there spitefully free and enjoying the old sports like he used to, right in front of Captain Shrimp's face, who had spared no effort to get rid of him. Personally, I find it really satisfying that when Morton finally did come back to this country, after his second banishment, after all he'd been through, the rebels, his time in London, his adventures with the Indians, his banishments, his journeys over the ocean, etc., after all he'd been through, he still came back to this region of the country, having made his will in Europe. He still came back here and wanted to live out his last years. Okay? So here he is. He landed at Plymouth. He was allowed to stay there on assurance that he would leave in the spring, and he spent the meantime hunting right on Captain Standish's or Captain Shrimp's homestead. So it must have been pretty spiteful, really, of him to be talking with all his old Plymouth enemies, to be hunting, shooting off his guns, probably annoying Captain Standish at his house, having a bit of spiteful fun on them, really. That probably didn't do him well in the end. But here he is again. He loved the country. They couldn't touch him because he was at this time on godly gentlemen's employments, as he said. And again, that spirit of taunting, I think that must have cost Morton some.
All right, so that's nice. In what years? Okay, let me just get you walking again, because that's a nice effect. I'm telling you, it's a very nice effect.
Okay.
Just say.
Want me to try it again, the intro, or what?
No. Just talk about the Puritans for a second. How the Puritans' example fell apart.
About the English Civil War? Sorry?
Why did the Puritans' example, moral example, fall apart? It just didn't hold, right?
Well, yeah. For economic reasons here, and, you know. Do you want me to walk now?
Yeah.
Okay. Unfortunately for the Puritans, the English Civil War had broken out overseas. And so suddenly, no one in Europe really cared much for their moral example anymore. And they knew it. At the same time, no one also cared much for their exports out of New England. So there was a terrible kind of economic deflation of everything that they tried to establish here. And we had nothing to go with but an escort, but we used it to its maximum advantage. And that's the important thing for a couple of field mice scholars like ourselves who are just kind of trying to make our living through the cracks of Western civilization.